How was the test?
It was a piece of cake. I'm sure I got 100%.
Excellent. And even if you didn't, there's no point in crying over spilt milk.
Trust me, it was my cup of tea.
Hi again! It's time for another of our very short, bite-sized English lessons in our series about idioms. This lesson is going to be a very tasty one, all about food. Idioms are little phrases and sayings that us English speakers use and all understand. However, to an English learner, they will seem confusing. So it is important to memorize the meanings of these idioms. We are going to look at 3 food-related idioms. Let's get going! Imagine your friend just had an exam and you call them up and say, "Hi mate, how was your exam this morning?" And they replied with, "It was a piece of cake." Now, what on earth are they talking about? The exam was a piece of cake? What a strange exam! No, what they really mean is that it was a very easy. A piece of cake is an idiom meaning that something is incredibly easy. You can also use this idiom by turning it around to mean that something is difficult. You could say, "It wasn't a piece of cake, it was hard." Food idiom number 2 is no use in crying over spilt milk. This sounds like another strange one. Let's look at an example of it in use and see if you can work out what it means.
Can't believe we lost the game.
Well, it's over now. There's no use in crying over spilt milk.
This means that there is no use in being upset about something that happened in the past and you cannot change. For example, once you spill milk, you cannot put it back in the bottle. There is no use being sad about it. Let's look at another example of this idiom in action.
I feel so stupid for losing my bag. I don't think I'll ever see it again.
We can always buy you another bag. In the meantime, cheer up. There's no point crying over spilt milk.
Our last idiom in today's class is decidedly English. This is an incredibly common idiom and is definitely one worth remembering. Let's look at it in an example conversation and see if you can tell what it means.
Did you watch the football match last night? It was the best.
Nope, I didn't watch it. Football's not my cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea? What does that mean? Football is not my cup of tea. Well, to say something is not your cup of tea is to say that you don't like it. For example, I don't like pop music. I would say that pop music is not my cup of tea. You could also reverse that idiom to express a liking for something. For example, I love rock music. That is my cup of tea. Before I leave you for today, it is time for a little quiz to find out how much you've learned. We will have 3 multiple choice questions about the idioms we've just studied. Let's get to it! 1. If you really don't like something, you could describe it as A. Not my piece of cake. B. Not my cup of tea. C. Not my spilt milk. Two. If something was incredibly easy, you could say it was a piece of cheese, B. piece of cake, C. cup of tea. Three. Complete the following phrase. There's no point in A. Crying over spilt milk. B. Falling over spilt cake. C. Spilling milk. How did you do? You can find the answers to this quiz and unlock hundreds more video lessons, pictures, articles, and other cool things at our amazing website, www.ucan.vn. Well, that lesson was a piece of cake. I really hope it was your cup of tea and that you learned a lot. Now you know 3 useful and common idioms about food that you will be able to wow your friends with and sound much more like a native English speaker. Remember to practice every single day, as it will help the new knowledge sink in and you'll remember it much better. It's been a pleasure having you, and I'll see you again in the next lesson. Did you like what you just watched? Please do remember to check out our website, www.ucan.vn, for more awesome lessons.